Welcome to Caching Waves. This is an Elliott Wave update for DOGWIFHAT. So I'm out on the daily. Just wanted to show you my primary count. And that is we are in the middle of a third wave in blue, as you can see, with eventual targets up around $5. Now we can get extended higher than that. I don't want to get anybody too FOMO'd in or anything like that. But if this is 3 nested 1-2s, which is my bias currently, we can come much higher than that. So these are just our standard Elliott Wave fibs. We'll have to adjust that as we go. Now things we're looking for before, we still have no divergence whatsoever on the daily. Volume is picking up, which is a good sign compared to the previous wave 1. So everything is intact so far with what we're looking for. And even better signs than we had previous is we've now passed the 1.236 and the 1.382 extension of this wave 2 I have labeled. Because if this was an A and this was a B, our most probable zone was between the 236 and 382 to get the C wave before we moved higher, and we've broken through that. Now it doesn't invalidate the B wave, it just switches probabilities that our count is correct. And past the 1.618 at 107.2, I would pretty much throw that option out the window. So knowing that, everything is looking good. Going to go down to this candle right here, this wave, sorry, right here, down at the 15-minute on MEXC, which is where I'm tracking it at that time frame. Okay, so this is what I have as our third 1-2. Just to show you how the wave panned out. It was pretty much ideal, although it was tough to track in the beginning. Have a 1-2 as a diagonal, very short wave 2. We then had our third wave, came to the 1.618 extension of that wave 1 off the 2. We then made a running triangle as our fourth wave, and our fifth wave ticked just past the 2.618 extension, and we hit the 1-to-1 extension of the wave 1 off of wave 4, so almost ideal. Last update, I believe we were down in this area, somewhere over here, and I suggested we're probably going to come up and make some sort of flat, and we have done exactly that. So at this point, my stop is at 46.6. That's where I'm leaving it at. I just have a really good position size that I don't want to touch, so I'm not worried about giving a little bit back. Just in the meantime, letting it fluctuate in price, my position. I got in literally down at these levels, so I'm pretty happy with where it's at. My stop is at 46.6 currently, which is right above previous highs. This first dotted gray mark you see is the high of the first 1-2, and this dotted second mark is the second 1-2. So I'm just below that and just below the fourth, just past the 50. I don't think if we want to stay in that bullish manner I suggested to you, we shouldn't break below that level. So I would switch probabilities to something else if we came below that level. So if this is the top of our fifth, we're tracking a B wave that can come, most likely targets between 89.2 and 93.33. We were right in that zone here, although I think we might come back up into it. As for time, our wave 1 through 5, I extended our time fib. Our standard time fib would be between tomorrow to finish or Sunday. We don't have to come out to there. We could be complete relatively soon. That's just standard guidelines. So if we go to linear, we're looking between a 618 and a 1-to-1 extension of this A wave for our C, or as a WXY if it's something complex. That's what you see in this white box. That's a 618 and the 1-to-1. One thing to be aware of is if we switch to linear, we have tagged the 618, which is the minimum requirement for this to be all the completed wave, and we just start moving. I think it's unlikely currently, but I'm just saying the minimum requirements are there. So if we don't take off, say, from this wave to the upside, what would I expect? I would probably relabel this, and we'd be most likely still in the B wave. If we pay attention to our time guideline, we'd expect this to get extended out and come into our zone. And what that would look like is this is an A. We got 3 up for our B so far. We could be in the middle of a B wave in a B wave, where we get like an A, B, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, something like that. We then make a 1-to-1 of this move to the upside. Our B wave is actually here. And then we target our 1-to-1 of this wave, A, B, C, like so. So that's how things would just get extended out a little bit. In these scenarios, I'd expect this A wave to get protected. And if it gets stopped out, I would expect it to pull through just for a candle or two and quickly reject, like you saw over the last day or two. There's just a lot of stops in these areas, so they might just grab that liquidity really quick, do a V-cut, and off to the races we go. That's partially why I'm leaving my stop where it is, because I don't want to have to re-enter my position. So that's what I'm looking for. Either we have a improbable completed WXY, it would have to be here on linear scale, taking the 618, or we do the more probable thing in my point of view is we're in the middle of a B wave, come back, then we go. Now, if you are not in this, this is not financial advice. I'm just giving you my point of view. If I were to trade this and I wasn't already in, I'd be trying to buy the C wave, and my first stop would be at this A wave. Or I would put my stop just past the 50 below that fourth and try and get in on the way down and kind of DCA in. So that's not financial advice, just my suggestions of what I would do if I were not in. Now the ideal area is the 1-to-1 at 65.43, and that is based on the current B wave high. If the B wave comes a little higher, you'll have to adjust that yourself. All right, guys, so that's it for DOGWIFHAT. Looking for sideways consolidation before we move to the upside. Thanks for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe. I'll see you on the next one.